Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Simeon here, and today we are continuing our series on sales and marketing 101. We are running a course this time around. So, if you want to know everything regarding sales, regarding marketing, please stay glued to this channel. Stay glued to this uh, Facebook page. Okay, so always help us to share the video. So click on the share button right now and then connect to your friends and families and let everybody get connected. Okay, so today we're going to be focusing on approach and contact in marketing. Approach and contact in marketing. First is approach. Okay, in marketing, approach and contact are critical stages in the process of engaging with potential customers or clients. So they are often part of the broader prospecting and sales strategies. So if you want to become a good salesperson, you need to understand the approach, and then you need to understand what contact mean in this context. So first, the approach refers to the initial stage where a salesperson, establishes uh, contact or engages with a potential buyer. That initial stage, which requires the making the first impression. Okay, you've not met with this person before. This is the first time you are meeting with the person. That initial engagement is what is called the approach in marketing. So the goal is to establish a connection and lay the groundwork that will help you to make that relationship cemented, and most importantly, close the deal. So that initial approach is very, very important. And what you do at this stage is what will determine the outcome of that engagement. So if you get it right at this stage of approach, then it will determine what the outcome will look like. Okay. But if you miss it at this first stage, that's why it is said that you don't have a second chance to correct the first impression. So that initial impression is very, very powerful. I've seen people lose businesses because of their initial first impression. It will so shock you that somebody has lost a big contract because of a handshake. Okay, the contract, they have done the discussion, and then he has submitted his bids, and they have looked at the conversations have been concluded, and it has been concluded that, oh, this guy is the right person, he's going to get the contract. But at the end of that discussion, a handshake that will close the discussion was what made the person to lose it. So by the time they did the handshake, the person that recommended this guy, the person that did the interview, had to call him, the person that recommended. I said, this guy you recommended to us is good, but we doubt if he has the capacity to deliver. What was the problem? His handshake was too light. So in other words, from his handshake, it was determined that his decision-making process is too light. He doesn't have the energy, the capacity, the ability to deliver. And he lost the contract because of handshake. So that initial initial impression is so important. And you need to understand how this whole thing works in marketing. So imagine that you've met a client and you've discussed and discussed and discussed, and from your discussion you are bought into the heart of the client, and he's already concluding in his mind or in her mind that this is the right person and I'm going to deal with this person. And by the time you are done with your conclusion, just a handshake to part, you spoil the whole thing. It's amazing. So the purpose of approach is to create a favorable first impression, which is what I'm just talking about. Create a favorable first impression. that you're leaving the presence of this person, and you're leaving an impression that tells this person this is the right person. This person can deliver. This person's offering is worth going for. Okay, you're talking about real estate, you're talking about lands or properties, and by the time you're parting, you're leaving an impression in the heart of this person you've met, that this person will say, "Oh, I'm going to deal with this person." Even when you've gone, that impression is what lingers in the person's mind to say, "I'm going to reach out to this person." Okay, it comes with a whole lot, including your packaging, the way you are able to comport yourself, the way you are able to comport your comportment in terms of your verbal communication, in terms of your body language, in terms of the confidence that you exude. Okay, all of these things put together create that impression that you can deliver, or that you are truly going to do what you say you will do. Okay, so it also build rapport. That approach is a point where you build rapport, because that rapport, that your impression will determine if this person is going to continue keeping the communication line open, or if it's going to be closed. So if you have created a wrong impression, of course the communication line is going to be short. But if you have created a good impression, the communication line is going to be open, and that's what is going to lead to closing the deal. So building rapport is part of that initial approach, and then introducing the prospect to the value that your product or your service is going to offer is also very important at that initial stage. So while you have met with the person, you have introduced yourself, you've introduced what you do. In fact, one day I sat down and I'm thinking of creating 60 seconds introduction that will buy into the heart of the client or the prospect. 60 seconds introduction of my person that will make everybody I meet, just 60 seconds. That's what is called the elevator pitch. That you just entered into elevator and you meet with someone like Mike Adenuga or Aliko Dangote or any of these big names, maybe Cosmos Maduka. You just entered into the elevator with this person, and you are going to the second floor, or maybe he is going to the second floor and you're going to the 5th floor. You just have 5 seconds to make an impression, to make a statement. What are you going to say? You are in this elevator right now with this person that you have been dreaming of meeting, and here you are with the person. What will you say that will make that person, that will create the impression, that will make that person want to talk with you after this moment? You just need to sit down and craft that message. 60 seconds. Once you are able to craft that message that you can say within 60 seconds, and you have been able to buy, and you can buy into the heart of anybody, then you know that you've gotten the approach method very, very correctly. So it's something you need to sit down and craft. So you don't meet somebody and you're wobbling, you're mumbling words, you don't know what to say, you start stammering. Then you have lost it all. Okay, you just need to sit down and craft this message, and then let it become part of you, so that when you speak, you're speaking from your heart. You're not speaking from your head. You're speaking from the heart, and when you communicate from the heart, you are going to communicate directly to the person's heart as well, so that you know that you can get the attention of anybody at any time to listen. What this 60 seconds does is simply to arouse interest. It's simply to get the attention of the prospect to listen to you what you have to say. So 60 seconds, you have to introduce yourself. And then the remaining part of the minute will be to talk about what you have gotten the attention of the person for in the first place. Okay, so it's very important. What value is your product going to do? What value, what service, your product or your service, what value is it going to do? Because every time you present your product or your service, it must be presented as a solution to the person's needs, to the person's problems. If it doesn't solve the person's problem, the person is not going to be interested. So you have to identify that that area of needs that the person has interest in. Do you know one guy came into a hotel, uh, uh, well, Albert, Herbert Wigwe, yes. Herbert Wigwe came into uh, Nikon Luxury, and while he was walking in with a lot of his entourage, there was this guy who was he's been waiting for that moment. It looks like he's been waiting for that moment. So the moment he saw him, he went through that entourage. And then once he had the chance, just 60 seconds, it mustn't be more than that, because you don't have eternity to make the first impression. Just the little moment he had, he went and introduced himself to Herbert Wigwe and told him that he's been following him, and then the bank, and then identified the lapses in the bank's app, the Access Bank apps, and what he was going to do to rectify it, what he was going to do to beef up the bank app, and so that it can compete in the global stage. Once he said that, and then what Herbert Wigwe did was to pull his complimentary card and give to him and ask him to meet him, because he was interested. This guy has just shown himself that he can solve his problem. Who knows how long they have been discussing it in their management meeting, what to do to rectify their app challenges. And this guy just showed up that he could do it. He gave him the complimentary card. And of course, the guy went to meet him in the next meeting, and the end of it was he went away with the contract of how to do that. And he did it. So that's what I'm talking about. Any person you want to meet in the world, you can, as long as you know what to do to solve his or her problem. All right. So your product will always attract anybody if it can solve the person's needs. So that's what it does. So the approach can be done through various channels. Okay. What I've explained now is the one-on-one contact, but it can be done through various channels. It can be done through social media. It can be done through cold calling. It can be done through one-on-one meeting. Whatever channel it is, make sure that you connect with the person on a personal level. It has to be personalized, okay? And it has to also be personalized to the needs of the prospect. That's the only way you'll be able to get the attention or the interest of the prospect. So the key element here is you need to do a lot of research before you meet a client, before you communicate or prospect, before you reach out to a prospect. You need to do some level of research. What are you researching? You're researching to understand the needs of the person. For instance, if you're operating restaurants and you want to go prospect somebody that he can come buy from you, first you need to understand if the person you want to prospect likes the kind of menu you have. Okay, if the person doesn't like the kind of menu you have, then there's no need, because that meeting will be a flop. So your research is, does this person like this kind of food that we cook around here? Okay, so now you are in real estate and you want to make research to understand if this person likes your offering, the locations you have, does he have interest? If the person doesn't have interest, what am I going to do to arouse his interest, to pull him to come by where in the location where I have? That's the kind of research you're going to do. So understand that research is basically to understand the prospect's background, business needs or personal needs, and challenges. Once you are able to understand this, if what you are offering has to do with his personal needs, then you need to research that. So research is to help you understand the prospect's background, business needs or personal needs, and then the challenges. Once that is done, then that meeting you're going to meet, you'll be speaking from the background of knowledge. And knowledge is power. When you talk from the background of knowledge, then you are going to conquer. Next is personalization. Always tailor your message to the specific individual. Okay, don't talk at random. Let it be specific. Craft your message in a way that it will be specific and not random. Tailor your message to the specific individual, right? Then value proposition. What is the value proposition of your offering? Clearly communicate it in a way that your prospect will understand what that product or that your offering will do. Let it be communicated in a very clear manner. Okay. Identify the pain points of your prospect so that your message will hit that point. This is what we are here to do. This is what my product is going to solve for you. You are in the real estate industry, fine. What problem are you solving with your real estate products? Because it's important you understand. Are you, a lot of people are in the industry for different reasons. And people who are buying for different reasons. So you need to understand why would this prospect buy? Is he buying because he wants to increase his net worth, his portfolio? Or is he buying because he wants to increase his financial income? So you must understand, if the person's interest is to increase his financial worth, then you are there to tell the person how you can grow his money. You are in money business. So you tell the person, I am in a business of making people rich through real estate. And this is the way I can help you grow your money. So you are telling this person that people who invested in this property when it was 3 million, in this number of months, that their 3 million is now worth 10 million. And you show the person in a clear picture. Once you have painted this picture, it's going to arouse, if the person's interest is to grow his capital, it's going to arouse his interest, and then in his mind is doing the calculation. Oh, so if I have put 3 million in this certain number of months, it would have worth 10 million by now. Oh, wow. So if I do it now, in the next certain number of months, it is possible that my money would have grown to this amount of money. When that is done and you have captured the person's interest, he's going to be interested. If it's someone who is interested in growing his or her portfolio, when you come talking about how to grow money, he's not going to show interest. He's simply going to take pride in, I have such a number of properties in different locations. Then you're going to use that to capture the person. All right. So that's what the approach stage is going to help you do. The purpose is simply to create a favorable first impression and then arouse the person's interest so that the person will contact you or close that deal. Then contact phase refers to the actual interaction or communication with the prospect after the initial approach. This time around, you have established the first impression, and then you have opened the communication line. Then you started talking with this prospect. Okay, that is contact. So what it means is it's a stage where you start to build relationship and gather more information to move the prospect through the sales funnel. You have gathered enough information by interacting with the person to the point where it can help you now to close the deal. Many times we focus on talking and talking and talking that we forget to close the deal. There's a stage where you talk. There's also a stage where you stop talking, you stop selling and start closing. So the contact stage is the stage where you start closing and not selling. In other words, the approach stage can be a stage of selling, but the contact stage is the stage where you start closing and not selling, right? So the purpose is focused on deepening the engagement, understanding the prospect's needs, and progressing the conversation toward closing the deal. Right? So you focus on deepening the engagement, deepening the contact, the relationship, the engagement. But because remember, in marketing, you must always understand this. Always understand this, that it's about relationship building. It's about rapport. It's about engagement at a deeper level, at the heart level, heart to heart level of engagement, which is beyond just wanting to sell. You've got to connect with the person at the deeper level. Okay. I was discussing with someone last night, and I'm like, there are if you establish a business, there are two approaches to establishing a business. You can target the poor, or you can target the rich. If you are targeting the rich, then you need to think luxury. If you are targeting the poor or the average class, then you need to think about quantity. Quantity. The poor does not care about quality. It thinks about quantity. Okay. But if you're building around, if you want to attract the rich, then you need to think luxury. And when you think luxury, you're thinking of quality. Now, when you do this and your intention is to attract the rich, there are a lot of other factors that will help you to establish this business around them in a way that they will keep on coming. Luxury. Remember, luxury. In a way that when they come in, you're going to wow them with the first impression of how you made the ambience of the environment is very important. Where this person, even if he's the governor or the governor's wife, will come in and feel relaxed. That's why you see what is called lounges. Okay, so at the airport there are lounges for the big, for the rich, and there are where everybody else sits. Do you understand? So when you build and craft your business around this set of people, you have to do everything to impress them. And then when they come, they're going to engage with you in discussion, and they want to know the neighborhood where you live. Who live around here, the neighborhood where you live is the neighborhood of the average or the poor people, but you have established your business with luxury. You're going to lose them because they want to connect with you beyond just coming to do business. They want to connect with you to where you live, and where you live is going to inform them of who you are and your capacity. Because they want to connect with you knowing that contact is powerful, so that when they have need, They can call you because of who you are and the neighborhood that you live in. All right. So a lot of things are factored in here. So the strategies is the contact can occur through follow-up. Okay. To close the deals now, it has to come through follow-up, phone calls, in-person meetings, or even through digital platforms like social media can help you to close the deal. So the nature of the contact will depend on the prospect's response and their stage in the buying process. So if there are people who you may not be able to meet one-on-one, but you can continue the conversation through social media platform or through email or through phone calls. So the method you're going to employ will depend on the stage at which the prospect is in the buying process. So keep the conversation going by asking questions, addressing concerns, and providing value. Remember, value provision is the most important thing. So determine whether the prospect is a good fit based on their needs, their budget, their authority to make decisions, and the decision-making process. So once you're able to establish that, then follow up, that business is going to end up on a good note. And then finally is relationship building. In between my discussion, I've been talking about relationship, and it's very key in sales and marketing. Very, very key. Around here, I see people who just want to do business one-off and go away. They want to make sales one-off and go away. And that's where the idea of cheating comes in. They don't care. Just cheat. Make all the money you can make right now and go away. But in sales and marketing, return patronage is key. And if you are thinking return patronage, then you shouldn't think of cheating your prospect because the person is not informed, is not aware, so you take advantage of the person. You cannot think of that. Okay, in real estate, for instance, some people would come and say, how about if I add money on the price that you're selling? Can you cover me up? And I say, we don't do that. Because listen, when you add that money, what about this person eventually finding out the true cost of the property? You have lost the person forever. And it will amaze you that people want to even do this thing to their own relatives. Don't you think that this person is going to know? And then the person would argue, oh no, if you don't want, I go to other place. There are others who do it for me. The person will not know. How would the person not know? Because the person will eventually interact with the company or the company officials. The person is going to come for his documents. The person is going to be in the contact list of the customer database of the company. The person is going to be receiving emails or messages from the company officials. How on earth do you think you are going to maneuver and cover up this deal in a way that the prospect will never find out? Okay, what if eventually the customer finds out? Do you know that you have lost this customer forever? Your relationship with the person will go sour, for it will take a whole lot for you to repair it. Why would you be doing damage control for something you could just take what belongs to you and in peace and sleep in peace and rest in peace and just go? A lot of people are not satisfied with the commission they're going to get. They want to top much more. And you know what? When they are thinking of topping, they don't think of small money. They top so much because they want to make one off and go away. If you want to grow big in life, don't think that way. If you want to grow big in life, a little drop of the water is what makes the ocean. So if your tap is leaking, for instance, and is dropping a little, dropping a little. Just put your bucket there and overnight and see what that little drop has become. So if you are getting little drops here and there of money, that's what is going to build you and make you rich. And then you are comfortable because nobody is pursuing you. You have not soured your relationship with people. You have not abused your relationship with people. And then you are on a good book of people. You're going to have referrals. You're going to have return purchase. Do you know what that is going to do to your personal finance? So, relationship building is key to making sales. Focus on creating trust and credibility. Focus on creating trust and credibility. Don't focus on the money, what to get, the one-off that you're going to get. You spend it and shut the door. Keep the doors open always. Build trust, build credibility. This is what our relationship building is all about. So you position yourself as a helpful and knowledgeable partner in that industry. In real estate, you make yourself as a helpful and knowledgeable partner, because every time the person is going to come back to buy, you will always be the only option, the best option. But if you kill this relationship with greed, then even if you have made that initial money, but you would have shut the door forever. So my friend, as we wrap up this discussion, do not play small in building relationship, in building trust. Trust takes time to build, but it will give you return patronage. It takes time to build, but it's something that will give you, that will continue to earn you money, because trust is money. Trust is money. Credibility is money. It's capital. Never you sacrifice it on the altar of selfishness, greed, or quick to make money quick, right? So I believe that this discussion is of helpful to you, and if it is, click on the share button right now. Just share this video right now. Share it to everybody you know, right? Click on the share button, right? And then like this page, like this discussion right now, and make your comment. Let's see how much value we have brought to you. And if you have any question or any suggestion, please make it known to us on the comment section. I believe that this is of value to you, right? I know it is. I know you have picked one or two gems from this discussion today. And if it's so, do something with it. The greater testimony is that you're doing something with what you're learning, and then you're making money. Because the ultimate goal is that you make money. You make money that will give you peace of mind. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next episodes. Bye.